Welcome back, my friends, to Twisted Stitches. My name is Tammy. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. This channel, we talk about yarny goodness, crocheting and knitting. Heavily on the crochet, light on the knit because I'm a new knitter and knitting is very slow going for me. I'm having a little bit of a harder time catching on to the knitting. I can do it, but it takes me a lot longer than crochet. So this channel is a little bit heavier on the crochet side. So last week I had some birthday people out there that I talked about, and I forgot a couple for March. Rose with Rose Likes Crochet and a wonderful viewer friend of mine, Amanda. Happy birthday, guys. I hope your birthday was fantastic. On the last week of every month, I'm going to have you guys, if you want some birthday shout outs on this channel, to throw them in my comment section, and I will do it the week after, which will be like the first week of the new month, yada yada. Talking to you guys about yarns that I just cannot live without. That if I was on a desert island or like my ride or dies. These are yarns that I believe if you are a new crocheter, a new knitter, beyond having your basics like, your super savers, your cheaper acrylics, maybe Mainstays by Walmart or Premier Basics or Michael's Loops and Threads, things like that, that are your cheaper basic acrylics that are wonderful for practicing on. As a matter of fact, I still keep plenty of those kind of acrylic yarns in my stash for practice. Why do I keep them in my stash for practice, you ask? Well, if you are new and you are trying to learn a new stitch or you're going to work on a pattern, what better way to practice at is on some yarn that may have cost you just a couple of dollars and you're not really concerned about if you ruin it or if you decide to just trash it or do like I do. I started using my acrylic, my cheap acrylic scrap like squares that I make for practicing my knitting or just practicing a stitch in general. I am using those acrylic yarns for dishcloths. And how did I get that idea? I got that idea from a wonderful person, Debbie, the Canadian crocheter. She was talking sometime, I think it was last year or something like that. She was talking about she was practicing her knitting. She was making swatches, squares using acrylic yarns. And she said she was going to use them for dishcloths, like, not washcloths, dishcloths. And I thought, wow, that's kind of strange, an acrylic, 100% acrylic dishcloth. So I didn't really pay much attention to it. Usually if I make a dishcloth, washcloth, towel, I use a cotton, almost like 100% cotton to make those kind of items. So on a whim, I had remembered that I had seen her talking about using her acrylic swatches, her knitting swatches for dishcloths, because if they were wonky or something, who cares if you're washing dishes with them? So I decided to take one of my knitting squares that was a little bit wonky and I put it in my kitchen and I'm using it. And guess what? I absolutely love it. It works really well, especially when you're washing dishes and you're washing like plasticware, plastic cups and stuff like that. It seems to really get them squeaky clean. And I started thinking about it and I was like, it's not any different than using maybe sponge, I don't think so. Anyway, I'm using it in my kitchen. I like it because it's not getting a sour, musty smell. My 100% cotton ones will stink. This one just doesn't. So just so you know, guys, give it a shot. You may find out that you like. I don't mind it. I am using it for washing my dishes. Just give it a shot. You may like the way it works too. So I'm pretty happy with that. I believe for a new crocheter, new knitter, definitely have your cheaper acrylics so you can practice. So when you are working and you're learning your craft, you don't feel like you are wasting like a ton of money. Of course, you wouldn't want to use like an expensive merino wool or a cashmere blend type yarn and have it totally ruined because you just keep having to frog it back or whatever. So definitely, I would say must-haves, especially for beginners, definitely have your cheaper yarns in your stash. And I say keep them in there because actually those kind of yarns too make great charity projects. When you improve your skills, you can take all that acrylic yarn that you have and you can make some wonderful like charity projects out of it, like, you know, throws and stuff like that for, you know, nursing homes and things like that. So definitely have some cheaper acrylics and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you guys a few of my favorite type yarns, and especially if you're a beginner and you're just like, I am just tired of working with Red Heart, or I'm tired of, like, you know, the stiffer, rougher type yarns, and you want to move a step up. You've practiced, you've got your stitch down, and now you want to make something really pretty, but what do you invest in? What are some affordable yarns that'll make some lovely projects that I feel are a must-have in almost everybody's stash? And I'm going to show you some of my favorites. These are my ride or dies, and let me know, guys, in the comments if some of these are on your must-have list, okay, guys? So, especially for you new ones, you new people, I'm going to show you a couple of them, and I'm sure you may have even seen some of these out there, and you're curious about them, so I'm going to give you some information, and I'll let you know how I feel about it. As somebody who has been crocheting for, like, 23 years, and I've felt many different kind of yarns, and I can give you some sage advice about what will make some nice garments. So one of my first ones is Mandala, or Mandala, whatever you want to say. These are great because they come in an array of many colors. The way it works up is you can just pull it from the center and you can just continue on, not worrying about color changes or anything like that. And you get a project with some really pretty, all different kind of color changes without having to do a lot of cutting and or starting new yarn. And these have 150 grams, 590 yards. That's a decent amount of yarn on one cake. And I wrote down some quick stats for you. For the mandalas on Lion Brand, if you go on Lion Brand, they're $7.99 each. But if you go into like Joann's and Walmart, at Joann's, they run $5.99, and then sometimes you can use a coupon and stuff like that. And at Walmart, they're $4.97. You can get Mandala for $4.97 at Walmart. Your selection isn't as great as what's on lionbrand.com, of course, but this is great. And when you get a little bit more experienced and you want your color changes to be you want to control your colors, this is excellent for pulling apart and color controlling, and you have all these different colors on one cake. So this is definitely a ride or die. It's 100% acrylic. It's great if you have allergies or anything like that, and it's not too bad. It's not uber soft, but it's not bad. It's also a 3-weight yarn, and just, you know, not too thin, not too thick, DK weight. Wonderful yarn right there. So one of my next favorites, and it's a 3-weight yarn also, is, oh, it's going to blow out a little bit. Maybe if I put it back here. Well, this is called Comfy Cotton. Comfy Cotton by Lion Brand. This is also a 3-weight yarn. There's 200 grams in this. It's a 7-ounce cake, and there's 392 yards. Now, there's a little less yardage than what's in this right here for having 150 grams, 200 grams, but this is made out of 50% cotton, 50% polyester. Now, this is an excellent choice for somebody who wants to get away from the acrylics also. You know, you want to keep away maybe from the wools, or you have a wool allergy. This is an excellent option. It will keep you warm. I made my granddaughter a cardigan out of this last year, out of the chai latte colorway, and it came out adorable. Now this here is not as springy. It doesn't have the stretch that the Mandala does. You know, the Mandala is acrylic. It's a little more springy, a little more stretchy, but it's very easy to work with. It leaves a nice fabric, and I believe that a beginner would have no problems using this. It tends to be a little bit on the splitty side, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Now, for the Comfy Cotton on Lion Brand, $7.99, but in Joann's, I can find it all the time for like $5.99. And at Walmart, I have found this for between $3 to $3.50. Maybe a little bit more here and there, but I have found some really good deals at Walmart. So here is a great beginner yarn for you guys. This comes in like multicolored, kind of like, you know, like if you look up chai latte, let me throw in a picture right here. Now, as you see, it has all kinds of different colors in it, and they have some solids. This is called whipped cream this is called whipped cream, but I had no problem at all working with this yarn, and this is another great yarn. Another one that I love, and I didn't bring one with me, is Caron Simply Soft. Now, Caron Simply Soft is a wonderful, wonderful 100% acrylic yarn, and it's a pretty decent price, usually between the $3.50 to $4.99-ish range. Now, I'm not going to put this on as my most affordable because I've noticed Caron Simply Soft's price is going up a little bit more than what it used to be. It used to be a lot cheaper, and let me grab one and I will tell you all the stats on it real quick. So here is a Caron Simply Soft, and with this you get 6 ounces and about 315 yards. So this is why I'm not putting this in the affordable section as much, because you're only getting basically 300 yards, and that's for a solid color. When you get into the prints, it is a little bit less yardage. I don't have all the details on, you know, the prints right now with me, but it's a nice yarn to work with. The fabric would be nice and drapey. It does split a bit, so you do have to be a little bit more careful when working with it. And it is 100% acrylic, but it is a nice yarn. But with, I mean, like this here, I bought this for $3.79, and that was on sale. So, you know, this isn't, it's not bad, but it's not one of the most affordables that I'm telling you guys about. So I like Simply Soft, but I'm finding it to be a little bit pricier than it used to be. This yarn here, you're not going to get as much for the price. You get 344 yards, 150 grams. It's a 4-weight. So with it being a 4-weight, it's on the thinner side of a 4-weight, but it is a 4-weight nevertheless. But for somebody who is new and wants to have some really fun, you know, ombre effects, and this is 100% acrylic, and it is soft. It is soft to the touch, feels really nice. Fabrics made out of this look great. They feel great. They're just, you want to hold them and put them up to your body. This is a highly recommend it for your stash, for something you could grab especially if you want to make something special for yourself or for a loved one. On the ombre, they have quite a few colors. I think they have about 7 different colors on the Lion Brand website. At Joann's, they are running about $5.99. At Walmart, they're about $5.88. And at Lion Brand, they're $7.99. Why I say this is a good starter for your stash is just because you get some fun colors to play with. And when you're new, you don't have to do anything but start this and keep on going until you run out. And then if you want to add another ball, or if you want to add another cake and you want the project bigger, you have less to weave in, and it's just going to work up gorgeously. So, and this is just something to get you out of that. I am sick and tired of the basics. I want something that I can wear and put on and just feel like I did something super fancy, and this will do it for you. So this is a great yarn to have, a good must-have in your stash, the Mandala Ombres. Another one that is one of my all-time favorites. I've worked with it quite a few times. It is 100% acrylic. It's not on the real bad price side. It's nice and lightweight. We have the Lion Brand Ferris wheel. This yarn here works up beautifully, and it's another deal where you just start your project, keep going until you run out, and then add another one, or be done with one ball or one cake type thing, you know. I think one will make a scarf. Little, like maybe about 2/3 would make a wonderful hat. There's 270 yards. This is 85 grams. This is just a gorgeous yarn to work with. It feels great. It's soft. It is light. Feels lighter than like the Mandala Ombre. They say it's a 4-weight, but it really tends to lean on the very thinner 4-weight. So I would put it more at a 3-weight. That's just me personally. And not just me, most people who've worked with this have stated the same. And there is a similar type of cake called the cookie. I think it's just called the cookie, and I think it's on Hobie's website, and they list theirs. It's like the same thing, just different names for the colors, and Hobie lists theirs as a 3-weight. So I think this was just a misprint by Lion Brand. But for the prices on this, at Lion Brand is usually $4.99. Now, a lot of times they mark this down. They'll have like 30% off. So there you're running into like only like $3 and 30 something cents. Joann's and Hirschner's usually have this from between $3 to $3.50 on the average. So this is another, definitely, it just makes some wonderful projects, and you can use some basic simple stitches and make gorgeous projects. Great for a beginner. Now, a yarn that I don't have any in my stash to show you, and that's because when I showed you this, when I showed you this comfy cotton blend, I have a lot of this right now, and it's kind of like the next yarn that I'm going to talk about is similar, but not. I have used it. I made a project with it. And as soon as I made that project and I wore that particular, I made like a little like scarfette type thing, and I wore it. And the next thing you know, somebody came up to me and touched it, and they said they must have it. And that was it. I never saw it again. And I never bought more of this particular yarn, not recently, because of the fact that I have a lot of stuff in my stash right now. But it is something that I'm thinking about going and grabbing some to have in my stash because I love it. It is the Kubu yarn by Lion Brand. Now, I'm not sponsored. Nobody's paid me to do this. I'm just giving you my honest opinions. Every yarn that you're seeing, I bought with my own money. Nobody has given me any of these yarns. That's just a disclaimer to let you know. These are my opinions. Kubu is an absolutely gorgeous feeling yarn. And it is 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. And if you are somebody like me who loves more of the natural yarns, I mean, then I live in Florida, and having that yarn that is 50% cotton, 50% bamboo, and it's a 3-weight, and it feels so soft, and it is so luxurious. You can make a top out of it, and I can wear that top in the summertime in Florida and not get, dying. It is a really nice yarn to have, and it's not real expensive. It usually runs, if you have a Walmart near you, you can pick up some of the Kubu for about just under $4. So that's not too bad. And on Lion Brand, it runs about $5.99. And at Joann's, if you have a Joann near you, you can find it usually around $3.99 in these. They're usually, Joann's and Walmart seem to have approximately the same prices that I've noticed when I'm looking for the best deals for yarns. So when I tell you If you have a newborn baby in your life and you want to make a blanket for this newborn baby, this is the ultimate yarn for a newborn baby. It is, not only is it just buttery soft against the skin, it is good because it's bamboo and cotton. You don't have to worry about having acrylics, or polyester near a baby around its face. It's beautiful, wonderful, breathable, natural, just it's gorgeous, and it's not real bad in price. It does have 232 yards and it's 100 gram. It looks like a teeny tiny ball. And the reason why it doesn't look really big and it's a 3 weight is because cotton is a little denser and cotton weighs more than like the acrylics and stuff like that. So like I said, if you have a newborn baby in your life, in your household, or you want to gift a blanket or a layette set or a sweater or something like that, this is the perfect yarn to make something for a baby. They're all solid colors, so if you want to play around with colors, you are going to have to, do that yourself. It's not going to change colors for you. But the stitch definition is wonderful, wonderful. It makes gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous projects. So Kubu is like, it is wonderful. It is kind of like one of those, if you're looking to get into a more luxurious yarn, but you don't really want to spend a fortune on some of those really expensive yarns out there, that is a super good option. Like I said, it is wonderful for babies. As a matter of fact, it's approved by the American Cancer Society for the knitted knockers, so, I mean, they're also approved for like the preemie, making the preemie hats for the neonatal babies. It is awesome. Now, it does split. I will say it splits. So if you are using a crochet hook that is like maybe a Susan Bates type crochet hook, and you know how like on the Susan Bates, the head is a little sharper right at where it grabs at the little, I don't know what you call it. I'm crochet illiterate tonight. The little grabby part where the yarn grabs onto, right on the edges is a little bit wide, and it also can, cause to split a little bit more. So it is one that you have to pay a little bit more attention to while you're working with it. And I would suggest, just so you know, like one of these type of hooks, it's a little bit smoother, and the point and stuff is more tapered. And like these particular hooks, these are Clover Amours, these don't snag as easily when you're bringing the yarn back through. I use these hooks all the time, and I have less issues with snagging than I did when I was using the Susan Bates. That's just, just some basic information. So we have talked about almost everything. The only other thing that I would suggest seriously having at all times in your stash, because it's a fairly inexpensive thing to have, and it's something that will help you when you are just in one of those, like your Crojo or your Mojo or whatever is just not there, and you need a quick make to just get you back into the swing of things. And this is something that I will always have in my stash, always be able to pick up a ball or two and work something up, is right here. Just some plain, this is Peaches and Cream, or like the Premier cotton is great. Or Hobby Lobby cotton is really, really nice. And by the way, just so you know, Walmart they have like Mainstays cotton now, and it is pretty nice also. Now they don't have a huge selection of colors, but just to make some nice face cloths or some nice kitchen towels or something like that, they are pretty nice. I do have to admit, I was very surprised when I stuck my hands on it. As a matter of fact, the Walmart stuff feels softer than this Peaches and Cream. But this is wonderful stuff to have around the house. any plain old cotton, just so you can make yourself a dishcloth, washcloth, face scrubbies, just to get you out of that slump, something that moves quickly, and pot holders, mug rugs, whatever. This is just, you know, it's one of the biggest things on my list. Have yourself some cotton. This runs $1.77 at Walmart. Now, I have found it cheaper on sale at Michael's here and there, you know, Joann's and things like that. Sometimes online it'll be a little bit cheaper. This is 95 yards. It is a 56.7 grams. I don't know, you know, cotton is denser, so whatever. But out of one, you can make a pretty nice size washcloth. This particular one, I did a pot holder out of Tunisian, the Tunisian simple stitch, and I used 1 and about a quarter of this one to make that particular pot holder. And that, I think the Tunisian simple stitch is a thicker stitch and it uses a little bit more yarn. But like I said, it's $1.77. Now, I will make a suggestion. At Walmart, they have the cones. And at Walmart, the cones are $8.99, and you get 676 yards, and they are 400 grams, the cones. So I do have a couple of cones in my stash for if I wanted to make a larger project, like a large purse, or even if I wanted to make like a light and airy, use a bigger hook and make like a light or airy crocheted, or if I get good enough knitted, like maybe beach cover up or something like that. So this is something, if you are starting your stash or you're a beginner or whatever, this is a great thing to have. So I think I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about on this video for you guys. Now, I called this particular video must-haves that are in the cheaper price range, the more affordable price range. I mean, I can give you some must-haves that are a little bit more expensive, but I wanted to just make this something that is fairly attainable for most. That I believe at least a couple of these things you would be able to grab for your stash, whether it is the mandala. This is a wonderful, you know, this is wonderful to have in your stash, and 590 yards, and you can pick this up for, what did I say? For approximately $5-ish. This is a pretty good thing to have in your stash. You've got all these colors and you got a lot of yardage. And then, like I said, if you are someone who, you know, wants to get away from the acrylic, maybe a newborn baby, if you don't mind a little bit of polyester, the comfy cotton with the 50% polyester, 50% cotton is nice. Of course, going back to the Kubu, that is ultimately one of my favorites because of the fact that, you know, natural fibers and stuff, cotton and bamboo, and the softness is beyond butter. It's buttery soft, okay? So yeah, that is kind of one of my favorite stashes. Another great one, the Mandala Ombre. Oh, this is just gorgeousness. This particular one, if you wanted to know, is called Felicity. And the reason I got it is because, as a lot of you may know, a lot of you who follow me and know me know that those there are like really my colors. So yeah, but they have lots of other colors, just gorgeous. So out of some of the yarns that I showed you, you know, we've got the Ferris wheel, lovely. We've got the Mandala Ombre. We've got the Mandala cakes in general. We got the comfy cotton. I talked about the Kubu or Kobu. I talked about the Kubu. I talked about some plain cottons. What is your favorites? What was your favorite that I talked about? What was your favorite that I talked about today? What do you want to work with? If you have a favorite, leave it in the comment section. Help somebody who's new to crochet or knitting. Help them out. Give them some good suggestions, good ideas. So I'll be talking to you guys really soon. Love you guys. Bye.